I don't know if you can all see me properly on here, but we're going to do this video for a spag bol. So the first thing I've got is an onion. I'm going to use 2. Slice the end off. Slice the other end off. Cut it down the centre. So you've got 2 halves. Okay. Discard them for a minute. Get rid of all your crap. I'm going to try not to swear on this video because there will be children watching. You're going to take off the outside layer, so just peel off the end one. Okay, and then you're left with that, and you're going to put that in the bin. Do that on both the onions. And then to dice it, what you want to do is you're going to cut down like so. I'm trying to do it slow. And you turn it round and you cut. Be careful when you're doing this, especially if you've got a really sharp knife like I have. So you've got to slice across and down. Okay, I'm not being patronising. Some people don't know how to do this. And then put your fingers on top, out of the way, and cut down, and you've got small cubes. Okay. When you get to the end, the bit that you didn't cut through, tip it over. Okay. Tip it over, and then just cut down. Okay. So now you've got a load of little cubes. So I'm going to do the same with this one quickly. This is a big knife, this. I'm going to put them in a bowl. I'm going to do this prep first. And then I'm going to come back to cooking it. So take the ends off, okay, cut down the centre, take the end, the last layer off the onion, and any skin that might be there. Take that off there, get rid of any rubbish. Obviously I did wash my hands before I was doing all this, so make sure you keep your hands nice and clean, especially with what's going on today. So let's just do this. Across the middle. Be careful with your hands. If you're using a big sharp knife, obviously don't let the children do this. Well, not young children anyway. And if they are, just make sure you do it nice and slowly. Okay, so there's my onion. Okay, I've used 2 small to medium sized onion. Half of it's gone on the floor. But don't worry about that, we'll pick that up. Okay, so we've got our onion done. Now, the carrot that I told you to get in the recipe, don't bother peeling it. You can peel it if you want to peel it, but there is no need. Get a grater, full carrot. This is quite a large carrot, which is what I want. There is more goodness in the skin of this carrot, more protein than in a full tin of beans, to be honest. So just don't bother. As long as it's clean, wash it if you want to. You don't need to peel it. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to get rid of that, just the end, so I don't catch my fingers. Okay, I'm going to put that in another bowl. I'll just pick the grater up, put him inside there. Tap your grater, put this carrot in there. Okay, so we've got the carrot done, we've got the onion done. Okay, this is how quick it is. Garlic, got a bulb, right? Press down on top, they all come out. Okay, discard all the rubbish, get your bulbs. I haven't got a garlic crusher. I'm going to use 4 pieces of garlic in this. I'm going to put the rest of them into my garlic container. So we've got some that have already come out of the skins there, so that's good. When you crush it down like that, if you crush it down hard enough, some of them come out of their skins. Okay? I'm going to put the ones that didn't into my garlic jar. And the one that went on the floor. Discard all my rubbish. Okay, now the trick with this, they've already come out of their skin, so they're fine. Right. So if you haven't got a garlic crusher, get the garlic bulb, back of your hand, do it until you hear it crack. Okay, break its back, and then just push your knife down on the big end so it doesn't go all the way through, and just pull the garlic piece away, and you'll find that it'll just come away very easily, like so. So I was going to put 4 in, so I'm going to forget them other 2. Break the back, big end, so you're going through this end, okay, through, but not all the way through. Pull it away from the knife, and you've got 4 nice pieces of garlic. I'm going to put them in my tub, in my container. I'm going to clean my board down. Okay, right, garlic. You want to release the oils and the flavours from this garlic. So knife on top, tap, bang. Okay, that's released all the oil on the board now. So put it on there, tap, bang. Tap, bang. Tap, bang. Okay, so now we've got squash garlic. Just chop it into tiny little squares. If you've got a garlic crusher, just bang it in the garlic crusher. I haven't got one, as I've said about 5 times. Just be careful when using these big knives. So now we need a form of a grinder to crush this. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt on top of my garlic. That was less than a teaspoon, so just about a teaspoon, if that, right? Now, the trick to this, you put your knife flat, like so, with the heel on the board, put your fingers on the top, and press down with your fingers whilst twisting your wrist. Okay? So, if I do that now, do it as fast or as slow as you want. Keep going. You can just put this in chopped dead fine, but if you do it like this, it'll melt into the spag bol. So we're nearly there, and then we've got garlic almost pureed. I'm going to stick that in with the onions. No, I'm not. I'm going to stick it in with the carrots, just on the side. Mushrooms. I'm going to put mushrooms in mine. Okay. Doesn't matter how you put these in. You can put them in quartered, halved, whatever you want. I like mine diced. Okay, so just thinly dice, however you want to do it. Doesn't really matter. I'm sure everybody out there can chop a mushroom. I like it like this. Okay, I'm going to use about 4 or 5 for this. They're quite big, these, so I'll use 4. When I'm doing it here, the knife never touches my finger, it touches my knuckle. Okay, so if you watch the... Whoops, went a bit wrong there because I was showing you. Okay, like so. So keep it away from your fingers, because I've seen people take that skin off there and it's not a pleasant experience. Do it as fast or as slow as you like. Practice makes perfect. Okay, so I've got all my mushrooms. I'm going to put them in the same bowl as the carrot at the side. Okay, they're in there. So we've got the carrot, the onion, the mushroom, the garlic, all done. Let's get them out of the way. Now, the pork. Okay, this is my pork loin that I bought, that I showed you on the ingredients. Right, he's got a bit of sinew. I don't know if you can see that properly on there. He's got a bit of sinew, a little bit of fat. It's quite easy to get rid of. If you don't mind it, you can stick it in. It's just that it makes it a little bit tough. So I'm going to take this skin off, nice and gentle. Okay, sinew. Give that to the dog, a bit of raw pork. They'll love it. So nice and gentle. You need a nice sharp knife for this. Okay, just skimming that little bit of sinew off. There will be a little bit of meat come off with it unless you've got a proper butcher's knife, which I haven't. This is a big old chef's knife. Okay, we're going to trim that off. Rose is trying to ring me at the same time. We're going to trim all this fat off. You'll have to wait. Okay. So all the fat's gone. Okay, we're fine there. All right, Rose, give up. Now what I'm going to do with this, see like this, I'm going to slice it down the centre. Okay, so we've now got 2 good pieces. As that is now, I'm just going to cut it into squares about so big. Okay, just slice it nice. Okay, believe me, this is amazing. In Italy they use things like veal, venison, they use pork, chunks of beef. I like this pork loin in mine personally. It is beautiful, and if you do it properly, you will benefit from it. Okay, so we've got the pork. I'm just going to wash my hands. Okay, so we've got the pork, the carrots, the onion, the mushrooms, the garlic, all chopped. Okay, I'll put these mushrooms away. Get rid of my pork container. Move all them off the video. Okay, so we want to get that pork on a plate now. Out of the way. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Okay, so we've got the pork out of the way. We've got everything there we need, including our tomato puree, which is all going to go in. Our passata, which is this. This is for the sauce. We've got and then we're going to make the meatballs in a minute. Then I've got the pepper, and I've got some Himalayan salt in my pestle and mortar. So if you can do that, do that. Pause this video, whatever you want to do, because I'm not going to do it live, so give people a chance to pause it, because otherwise they won't be able to keep up. I'm going to pause this myself now while I leave you to do that, and then I'm going to get the meatballs on. Okay, I forgot to show you how to do the chorizo. Okay, so if you want to use chorizo, this is a chorizo sausage. It's the easiest way to buy it. I'm going to use just under half of this. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that bit. It's going in my bin. Now there's like a skin around this. Okay, you can't really see it. You wouldn't. So what I recommend is cut it in half. Okay. Then there is a skin. Okay, so just gently, because it will rip, like it just has done. Just pull that skin off. It's like almost like a wax. Just pull that off. You don't want that in your cooking. Okay, so it looks like a sausage skin. Okay, so just get your fingers under there. Use a knife if you need to. Just get a knife underneath there, just to start it off. A little knife, obviously, not a great big thing like that. And then just gently peel it back. Okay. You can buy cooking chorizo, which I don't think they have a skin on. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that these do, so I'll put that back in my fridge. Now basically what you want to do is you want to cut this in fine cubes. So you've got it lengthways, cut down once, twice. And it is quite tough. So you've got 3 thin ribbons of chorizo. Cut these now into very small cubes. Eat one along the way, because they're beautiful. Oh, I love that stuff. Okay, so we have now small cubes. So I'm going to do the same with this one. Cut down, and then just cut it into cubes. Just bear with me a second. It's a bit big. Okay, so now we've got a load of cubes of chorizo. So I'm going to put them over with my onions, because they're going to fry at the same time as the onions. When you fry that in a small amount of olive oil, the colours and the paprika that will release and the flavours that will release from that chorizo, it's phenomenal. I love it. It's nice. It's really nice. I like it raw. Well, it's not raw. It's already cooked, but you know what I mean. In this form, but when it's cooked, it's beautiful. On top of pizza, it's amazing. I'm gonna let you get on with that, and I'm gonna get the meatballs on. Okay, meatballs. Pack of mince. I need a largish bowl. I'm going to put the mince in the bowl. Remember to flip it over, because I've done this before, and get rid of the paper that's in it. Doesn't taste very nice in your meatballs. Okay, in there, let's wash my hands a second, again. Continuously wash your hands, guys. I've washed my hands about 5 or 6 times now since I've been doing this, even off camera. So, continuously wash your hands. Right, in here I've got this Italian cheese. I'm going to put around about 1/3 of this in here. If it won't come out properly, just give it a little shake up. Okay. You don't have to put this in, but believe me, it makes a difference. Okay, I've got my live parsley. I'm going to break off a big bunch. I'm going to put that back on the windowsill and water it, and that will grow, hopefully. And you want to chop this as fine as you can. You don't want great big chunks of parsley on. So, however you want to do this, that's up to you. Just get it chopped nice and fine. If you've got a blender, use a blender. Just make it all. You want it as fine as possible. You can use that dried stuff. Doesn't taste quite the same. It's all right. It's okay. But fresh is always better in anything. Okay, so we're chopping this up nice and fine. You see what I'm doing here? You've got your fingers on the end of the knife and you're using this as a rocker. Okay, if you've got a nice big fat knife like this, it's very easy. It's got to have that sort of that bow in it so you can make it rock, and it makes very light work of it. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's nice and fine. That's going straight into my meatballs. Now, there's a hell of a trick to making a meatball, and it needs to be practiced. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper. Quite a lot of pepper actually in mine. We're going to have a little bit of Himalayan salt. Okay, without knocking the camera over because it's resting against my pestle and mortar. Now get your hands in there, and you want to mix this up. Okay, now we need something to bind this because it won't bind. So for this amount that I'm using, I will need, get your hands in and squish it all together. You need it to properly combine. So I'm going to put 2 small eggs in here. One, 2. And then I'm going to put some breadcrumbs in. So just bear with me while I wash my hands and I'll come back in a second. Okay, so breadcrumbs. I've got myself a nice little blender here. I've had this for, I don't know how many years I've had that. It's got to be a good 6 or 7 years. I've got 2 rounds of bread. I'm going to cut it into small squares. Okay. You can use the big food processor, just I find this very handy. So I'm going to put half of that in there. I've already put my 2 eggs in the mince mix for the meatballs. These are amazing, these little things. Wouldn't be without it. You can buy dried bought in breadcrumbs. Personally, I don't think they do the same thing. They're just a bit too dry. So it's better to do it like this. You've got a little bit of bread that you need to use up. Use that by all means, which is what I've done here. So you want this as fine as possible, really. Pulse it. You've got to pulse it and let it go. Perfect. Sorry about the noise. If you've got one of these, they're amazing. If you haven't, get one. They're amazing for all kinds of things. Nice for doing a nice dressing. So you just basically your olive oil and mustard, a bit of seasoning, whatever you want, all goes in there. So now in here we've got the minced, the breadcrumbs, the egg, the parsley, the Parmesan cheese, and a bit of salt, pepper. Okay, now get all that together. So it'll start to bind now with the eggs and the breadcrumbs. You want to really squash it together. You don't want great big pieces of bread in your, because the bread obviously will stick together now with the egg and the moisture from the mince. So just squash your fingers through it like crazy. Get the kids doing this; they'll love it. You just really give it some squish and squash till you can't see much of the bread left. Okay, like I said, you don't really want to be seeing big lumps of bread. Now then, that's done. So, I'll bring on my baking tray. Now, the trick to this, if you're making a burger, you can make a burger out of the same thing. You would compact this tight and press it and squash it, and you want it tight, okay? When you're making a meatball, complete opposite. You'll get your size that you want, okay? This is around about a golf ball size. Okay, I'm going to put this in my hand and I'm going to gently roll it around the palm of my hands. I don't want to put any pressure on it. Just gently roll. Okay, nice. All you're looking for is the shape and for it to stay together. If you did that tight, when that comes out of there, it'll just feel like a little round burger. So, golf ball size. You can do these as big or as small as you want. It doesn't matter. Just gently roll it in your hands. Toss it back and forth, and then just gently. I can't say gently often enough. People tend to be too heavy-handed with these. I used to do it years ago. I learned from somebody I worked with, and believe me, they're perfect. The reason for the baking tray is these are going in the oven. Just nice and gentle, real soft hands. Okay, and it will stay together, I promise you. You might have little cracks in it and whatever, but believe me, when it goes in the oven, it will stay together. Okay, so nice and gentle, just put it together. I'm hardly touching this really. I know it looks like I am, but I'm not. Nice and gentle. Golf ball size meatballs. And these, my friend, believe me, when you taste these, they're amazing. You put what you want in these: fresh parsley, a little bit of finely chopped onion. But the thing is, I'm not doing it with this for the simple reason that we've got onion in the sauce. We don't really need any more onion. These are going to go in the sauce. These are going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes on about 180, middle shelf. And 20 minutes before the sauce is finished, I will put these in the sauce. 20 minutes to half an hour, and I'm going to leave them in there for about half an hour. And then, believe me, they'll take on the flavour and it will be absolutely beautiful. Okay, so nice and gentle. That's all you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to just finish the rest of these off, and then I'll come back to you. I'll touch my phone while I wash my hands. Just dry my hands, and then I'm going to finish these off, and then I'm going to come back to you and we'll put it all together. Okay, I've done my meatballs. I've got, I think it's 14 meatballs out of that one little packet. More than enough there. Well, easily for a family of 4 or 5, it depends. If you had 3 each, there's more than enough there. So, you know, these are going to be absolutely good. So I'll come back to them. We'll put them in the oven shortly. I don't want to put them in just yet because I'm going to get on with the spag bol. So that's how you do them. Just remember, gentle, nice and easy. If you squash them too hard, they're going to, like them things you get in Morrison's, they're too tough. They're like they're just like a burger, round burger. We don't want that. We want these to fall apart once you stick your fork into them. That's basically what we want. That's what we're looking for. But they're going to go in the oven on 180 for around about 20 to 25 minutes when they've browned. 20 minutes is usually enough. So we'll come back to them, and then we'll crack on with the spag bol.